everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking all about how I got into UCLA. This video is highly requested. I got a couple comments and a couple messages on Instagram asking about my stats and basically how I applied as a transfer and got in. I'm going to make another video this weekend. I actually have one of my former clients coming over. She's considering going to community college and transferring. She really wants to go to UCLA. So on Sunday I will have a video for you guys all about community college and the transfer application process with other schools. But today I'm going to be talking specifically about UCLA and the UC application system. So for the UC system, it is one application where you check all of the schools that you want your application sent to, you pay a particular fee, and then you only have to provide the materials once. So the best part of that is that you don't have to provide multiple applications such as on the Common App. So with the UC application, you have to input all the information that it asks for, mostly based on your community college credits. They'll ask you to kind of list all of the classes that you've taken, as well as figure out whether you're going to fulfill the Igetc certification. So with the UC system, they have what's called the Igetc Certification, and that basically says that you have fulfilled all of your general education requirements, all of your GEs, and that you are prepared to begin your major. With the UC application, you're also going to have to take classes that will fulfill your prerequisites for your major. So for me, I was taking history. It would have been very difficult for me to go in as an African American Studies major right off the bat because there were not enough classes offered at my particular CCs. I ended up attending 4 different CCs and having to kind of cross-reference classes because I was working full-time the entire time that I was in community college and had to either take online courses or night classes. So I basically had to go with what was available. So one of the great things about transferring to the UC system is that you do not need an SAT or ACT score. I ended up taking the SAT as well as the ACT because I was applying to out of state as well, but you are not going to have to provide those scores to the UC application, as well as you do not need letters of recommendation for the UC system. So that actually would have helped me quite a bit. I got along with my professors really well and I got some really good letters of recommendation out of it. But I would say the thing that will make or break your application for the UCs is going to be your courses, so your GPA, that you fulfilled Igetc, and that your essays are very strong. So instead of one personal statement, I believe you have to write 4 essays. This may have changed since the time that I applied, but when I applied, I think we had 5 or 6 prompts, and you had to select 4 of them and write a mini essay. I believe it was about 250 words. And within those essays, I really tried to make sure that I discussed a variety of things within my personality and my repertoire. So I talked about my professional athletics career, I talked about my love of literature and my love of history, and I tried to emphasize that I had an incredibly strong work ethic. Ever since the age of 4, I wanted to be a professional equestrian, and from that point on, I ended up working in order to make that happen. I turned pro at 18, and I worked full-time in that industry before deciding I wanted to go to law school. So I illustrated that in my essays, and I talked about how I had remained on that course until I decided that I had fulfilled my goals and I was ready for the next step, and my next step was going to the UCs. Those essays illustrated that I had committed myself to a particular industry or a particular goal, and that once that goal was achieved, I was ready to move on to the next step, and my next step was going to be transferring to a 4-year university. So I would say, after having met a multitude of other transfers at UCLA, UCSB, and as well as the other UC schools, the thing that they tend to look for the most is somebody that has shown growth in their academic and professional career. So whether that be that you went to community college because you needed to save money, or you had a professional career that you needed to focus on, demonstrating to them that going to the UCs made you a better candidate than you would have been having come straight from high school. UCs are looking for people that are of diverse backgrounds but also show a growth pattern. So I want to discuss how that growth pattern is shown both in the essays as well as in your stats. So during high school, I did not get the best grades. I was completely committed to my riding. I was grooming, going to horse shows, and all of my energy and mental energy was spent focusing on becoming a professional. So my grades were not as good in high school as well as my first year of community college. So I had kind of a mid-range GPA. It wasn't horrid, but it wasn't the best, and it certainly wasn't my best work. Once I decided I wanted to go to law school in 2015, I immediately turned around and I was pulling out A's for every semester. So with my academic record, it showed that I didn't do as well in high school, didn't do very well at the beginning of community college, but the second I decided that school was my priority, my grades shot up. So not only was I able to demonstrate that in the stats, but I was also able to demonstrate that in the essays. I specifically talked about why I didn't do as well in the early stages of my community college career, and I indicated why that was, as well as why my grades began to spike. It was because I decided that I wanted to be in academia, I wanted to be a scholar, and I focused all of the energy I had once put into my writing career into my academics. So that's something that shows a growth pattern, and honestly, I think that's why I got into UCLA. If you want another video about the stats required to get into the private schools as a transfer, that could be a whole other video, because that's a totally different process than the UCs. I think the UCs are pretty unique, and the things that the UCs are looking for are also unique. So at UCLA in particular, I think that they are looking for that growth pattern. They're looking for people with diverse backgrounds, and they're also looking for people that are going to go into majors and be successful. So I specifically indicated how committed I was to the study of history, and that the grades I was getting into my history courses at community college were going to be on par with what I was going to be able to achieve at UCLA. I also talked about how I was committed to a long-term trajectory of wanting to go to law school. So I not only demonstrated that UCLA was going to be the next step, but it was going to be the next step in my academic career. So that's something I would advise that you demonstrate. If you ever want videos on how to write a personal statement, I'm actually currently in the process of writing my personal statements for law school, so I'm very well versed in how to actually demonstrate that growth pattern, but I think in order to go into that, I would need to make a separate video, otherwise this one would be incredibly long. If that's something that you want to see, please leave a comment down below. I do take your guys' suggestions to heart, and I write them down whenever I see them. I also reply to almost all of my Instagram DMs, so if you have an idea that you would prefer not to leave in the comments but would prefer to do on Instagram, feel free to reach out. I am here to help you guys, and these videos are really meant to provide information that I wish I had had. And we've now come to the end of the video. I really hope that it was helpful. If you have any other questions, please leave me a comment or shoot me a message on Instagram, and I will talk to you guys soon. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.